Into Jordan. Here's Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good! The Bulls win! They win!
Where nothing is held back.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
Where nothing is censored.
He did what?
Where nothing is off limits.
She is gone!
Where anything goes. This is Snowman Unfiltered.
Holy Toledo, what a way to finish!
And here's your host, Brian Snow.
All right, folks, as I record this podcast on the scheduled day of release, I'm finally getting a schedule together. I've been meaning to have this man on for a while, but I kind of moved, and I had to move everything around. This is the Big Dawg, my wonderful producer of Snowman in the Morning, Shane Lake. He joins us now for some man talk. What's going on, brother?
Oh, you know how it is, man. 3-year-old running you crazy. Getting back into the grind of producing.
You know something? This is what a lot of people don't understand. What we do as parents, what we do as husbands, keep the grind together. But you and I have found some lucky ladies in our life that allow us to be us. And I want to start there because I did a conversation with a very good friend from a Facebook group about when men get abused, when men go through domestic violence. And she brought up a point, and I know you're going to expand on this for me because you've been there as well as I. Men get abused verbally, emotionally, and spiritually. And yet, the masses don't want to call it abuse.
That's the problem, man. Is unless it's, unfortunately for men, unless it's like physically showing, oh, just man up, you'll be fine.
Yeah. And that's the worst attitude that a man can hear right now. Oh, just man up. You need to learn how to handle your business. Okay, here's the question. What if you are handling your business and it's still being thrown in your face?
Oh, that's when it's really tough, dude. Because then it's like, okay, I am doing everything, and yet again, you're telling me what I need to do more than what I'm capable of. What?
Exactly. And that's what men have gone through this since as far as I can remember. And I never thought I would get in that situation until or be in that situation, I beg your pardon. You know, men don't ask to be in abusive situations, and most of the time they can't talk about their abusive situations. And the question that I was posed, why did you decide to speak out about it? The answer is pretty simple. I'm sick and tired of feeling alone. I'm sick and tired. I got sick and tired of feeling like no one believes what I went through. 4 years ago, I was in a very abusive relationship. Did it turn physical? Yes, it did. Not often, but it turned physical. To the point where I reached out to a ton of people, and they told me to go to the police, and they laughed in my face.
Man, don't I remember that?
You were there for the entire ride in 2015, and you had wondered why I had gotten so quiet. I was hiding. I was absolutely hiding. Physically, emotionally, everything.
Oh, I know. I know. Believe me, brother, I know.
And you went through kind of the same thing, and there were also some threats involved.
Oh, God. Threats in a 2-ton truck.
What happened?
Okay, so I explained this on a past show. I'll explain it again, I suppose. Before I got with the better half, and let's just say that didn't exactly go exactly as planned, This little psycho bitch. I tried it with somebody else for about 2, 3 weeks. Never worked out. That's another story in its own right. But there was one night I was walking back with a person. Psycho bitch and the guy she was with at the time were coming out of one of the convenience stores I always go to. Walked past me, scowled, whatever. Then she decided to jump in his truck, drive off with the wheel spinning, and just about hit me with the left rear of the truck.
Oh my gosh.
I guarantee you, if I was a foot further back in the crosswalk, I would have been plugged.
Oh my gosh, man.
Now, I'm not talking about any truck, dude. I'm talking about a jacked up Nissan Titan.
Mm.
Yeah, that thing's about 2 ton plus, and I just about got hit by a spinning left rear tire and fender.
Wow. I mean, why?
Yeah, I
why,
called
why do
PD
people?
about. I called PD about it. The next day, the bitch got pissed off at me. Like, I wasn't driving. I'm like, I saw you get in on the left side. Give me a break. I'm not stupid.
She said she wasn't driving.
No, because I glanced over and I saw her on the left side of the truck, so I know she got in. I
Right.
wasn't driving.
And she
But
claimed she wasn't driving.
she claimed she wasn't driving.
Without revealing too many details, what happened with the case? If there was one.
That's the problem. There wasn't.
That answers my question. That answers my question. You know the psycho bitch I was with 4 years ago. I
Mm-hmm.
was fully intent on marrying this. You insert the word.
Exactly.
I was fully intent on marrying this bitch, and this is one of the few times I get absolutely blue. But this is Snowman Unfiltered, and I'm allowed. I was fully intent on marrying this bitch, and she started to show her true self to the point where I've only told a few people this story, and one of them's my wife. But I think since I'm not mentioning names, I can expose this. I was doing a baseball game, and I was cruising right along. I was doing great. Do you know this bitch called me and wanted to go to lunch, and I told her I was doing a game, and yet she wanted me to go too? She wanted me to go anyway. I didn't know what to do at the time. I packed up, I left, I went to lunch. We went to a Chinese restaurant, and I had to think of something of a way to get away from her. So I feigned food poisoning.
That'll do it.
And I thought I was faking food poisoning until I actually got it driving home. So it's like the place said, you want a built-in excuse, we'll give you one. Just take advantage of it. I never did 70.
Exactly.
I never drove so fast to get from LaPorte, Indiana to Chicago, Illinois. I had to get the hell out of there, and I had to get the hell out of there fast. Unfortunately, I lost that contract, and it's partially my own doing. I didn't stick to my guns. And I can honestly say until I met my wife, I had a huge problem of making a statement, saying what I was going to do and then sticking to it. I had that problem internally. The ex-bitch
How many,
fucked me up, man. She
how
fucked
many
me up
times I have to,
bad.
dude? How many times I have to put my foot in your ass and tell you, dude, we gotta get this done?
Right. And you did. You did. You did. For 3.5 years you did. But I can finally reveal what was the problem. Fear. I had to work around my fear, and it took till me meeting my wife to work not only around it but through it. And we had a conversation last night, and I said I finally am no longer afraid to pursue what I want to pursue. I know what I have to do for the house and bills wise. I know that. But she looked me in the eye and she says, "Baby, I want you to chase your dreams. So make a plan of attack and let's do it." Part of it was the move here to North Carolina, but at the same time, I just got tired of being afraid. And when men reach this point and they finally respond, do you know how fast it's turned on them, making them think they still have a problem? Any of that sound familiar?
Oh, dude, I got that. I got with Chris. and this happened when I was actually with her. And so this will rank right up there with you. So my younger days, I say that being 33, so fill in the blank on how young I want to go.
Yeah.
I've been with her 4 years back in May. I've known her for about 13, actually this month.
Nice.
And yeah, dude, it was the day she and I met. It was Red Sox Indians ALCS 2006.
I love it.
So a few years back, before we had little man, she and I would go out. I was still working as a DJ and bouncer, so drinking ain't a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So ran into Crazy Bitch at one of the local bars that she and I would go to. And she and Heather got to yapping a little bit here and there, whatever, this is one of the first times that she ran into Heather.
Ah.
And then the next thing I know, they're kind of trying to goof off or whatever and trying to have some fun with me and blah, 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 blah. This is before things went stupid. And needless to say, Crazy Bitch, because the way the bar is set up, the TV is like at an angle and the wall is kind of like blocked a little bit. Crazy Bitch threw me so hard into the wall it dislocated my shoulder.
Ouch.
Literally Irish whipped me into the wall. And then immediately had to leave.
Oh, wow.
Saying her kids needed her. No, you heard me right. She said her kids needed her.
After Irish whipping you into the wall.
And dislocating my shoulder.
And dislocating your shoulder, she tells you her kids need her. Wow.
She has through a past marriage, she has a 7-year-old, 5-year-old, 3-year-old, and I think the youngest is now 3, so I think the kids are now like 9 and whatever. I don't know. I lost track after a while.
Yeah.
Ironic thing is her youngest was actually born on my birthday.
Go
figure.
Uh-huh. Well, since we're trading stories, here's this one. Well, there was my birthday, 2015. I don't share this story often. Drove to LaPorte, ready to celebrate my birthday. Everything was going fine until the ex-bitch decided to go see her ex. And I'm like, why do you need to keep that going? Why do you need to keep that going? I'm right here. She didn't care. And that was one of the times it did turn physical. And I'm already thinking, if I respond the way I want to respond, which is with a hard right cross and not care, I wouldn't be here. I'd be in a jumpsuit. And if there's one thing my pops taught me, always think to the rebuttal. What would happen next? And I had to continue that thinking. Be that as it may, that was one of the times it did turn physical, as I said. And then she tried making up with me.
Oh, jeez.
With her son in the room.
That makes it worse.
Yeah. I'm thinking about the kid. If he wakes up and sees her hitting me, guess who's going to wind up in trouble? And it ain't him and it ain't her. But because he's going to clearly think that was a response.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's the problem.
Yeah, all I do.
That's just the way the world is these days, man. No matter what goes on, even if it's retaliatory or what have you, first move, last move, it's always the bigger, stronger dude that gets it. Yeah.
Yeah, and standing 6'5" and on the precipice of 310 pounds, yeah, I'd have gotten it. I'd have been in handcuffs, and I know I would have been in handcuffs. And there's a lot of stuff that I was talking about when I did the blog. You remember this blog that I did, My Life in 2 Bags, when I was homeless in Michigan City? I was posting episodes on a daily basis. Because one of my old classmates said, "This is your therapy, and I'll support you." One of my best friends in broadcasting, Gary Reimer, the longtime voice of the University of Northern Iowa, responded, said, "Keep it going." Yeah. problem is, ex-bitch got a hold of one of the episodes.
Oh, I remember how this fucking went down.
Yeah, you remember how this went down. This is after I had some friends ride to the rescue, bringing me some clothes and
Yep.
getting me a hotel room for about a week, and I was good. I was good. And then the ex-bitch got a hold to one of the episodes and threatened, you ready for this? A slanderous lawsuit against me.
You told me all about this one, man.
I was in tears when I told you this.
Oh, God, I know.
And I'm going, how can it be slander when it's the truth? But at the same time, I was so worried that she might actually grow a set and actually do it that I stopped the blog. I mean, I stopped it completely, and people were wondering, why haven't you posted in a while? I couldn't tell them the ex-bitch threatened me with a slanderous lawsuit, and I was thinking beyond that. I'm thinking she was actually going to find me.
I know. I believe me, I remember.
I kept thinking she was actually not only going to find me, but try her damnedest to bring me back into a relationship. And I know you've been down this road. When I finally told her hit the road and when I finally told her hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, was I scared? Hell yeah, I was. Hell yeah, I was. I'm not even gonna lie about that. But some friends helped me get a place there in LaPorte, Indiana, and it's like I had to operate as a Secret Service agent because she could find me at any moment because she knew LaPorte better than I did. And I had to get some back roads to go through New Prairie and get to South Bend and get up to Michigan City. I had to learn a lot of back roads. And the reason I had to learn a lot of the back roads is because that bitch could find me at any moment and there could be a confrontation. And I'm trying to avoid all confrontations. I know you've been there.
Oh, yeah. Quite a few times.
So
Quite a few.
which prompts this question, and I want to give you the floor on this. Why is it that when a man who's in an abusive relationship, who's being abused, tries his damnedest to avoid confrontation? I mean, tries like crazy to avoid confrontation. And yet, he still winds up in it. In the confrontation, in the midst of the confrontation that he tried to avoid.
The answer, storm always finds the one that's intended for, no matter what. It's a heat-seeking missile.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is, and that's scary. So tell me something.
That's the problem.
Yeah, it is the problem. It's the big problem. It's the big problem. We've talked about this before, and we did it live on the show. Now we can do this unfiltered here.
Oh, yeah.
When men get fucked up, sorry about that. When men get fucked up in relationships, they're forced to change their lives. They're forced to rebuild their lives after coming out of an abusive relationship where they were the ones abused, and yet they are still made out to look like the villain. The woman who did the abusing gets away with it.
That's true, and it's the whole damsel in distress motto that everybody has. No matter what's going on, the damsel's always in distress.
Even when she's the aggressor.
Exactly. Oh, well, she's just retaliating from something you did. I ain't laid a hand on that bitch, and she's swinging at me, and you're saying she's retaliating for something I did? Say what?
Yeah. The guys at the church where I was, were telling me, man, you got to confront this and you have to confront her. And I told them flat out, if I confront her, there will be some fist flying and part of them will be mine. I didn't want any kind of confrontation whatsoever. They understood. They understood what was going on. And the scariest thing for a man is when he is found by the abuser. 2016, she surprised me. And this is one of the few I haven't told you. This is one of the few I haven't exposed to anybody. 2016, September, I go to church. I do my thing, run the service. I'm ready to jet so I can get home. I walk out as she's walking up.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. She walks up, she says, "Can we talk?" I said no, and I sprinted back in the church. Y'all wouldn't expect a big guy like me to turn it high, but after what I've been through dealing with her, man, please. That was the best thing.
Oh, I hear you, man. Believe me.
So, let me pose this question. How did you start to heal? What was one of the things, what were a couple things that you started doing that allowed you, A, to heal, and B, allowed yourself to get back on track?
Funny you mentioned getting back on track. Believe it or not, sim racing helps me kind of refocus my energy.
Understood.
If you don't have the energy to put on the negative, it slowly goes away.
Mm-hmm. I'm still learning that lesson even 4 years later, because when I can tell you, when I moved down here and landed the job that I had and I got anxious, I bolted. There was a lot of negative energy, and my beloved has helped me work through it. Getting back on the microphone today has helped. Just getting back on the microphone, period. That's helped. And it's so hard for you to do what you love to do and forget that that is your therapy.
And part B about what else has helped, I'll tell you right now. I got a 33-pounder sitting in the living room right now watching TV. That's help.
How is a little big fella doing?
Oh, growing like a weed. He's already over 3 foot tall, so he's going to be like
Wow.
his daddy.
How much has fatherhood helped you to heal? How much has it helped?
I'm going to tell you right now, man. It's a good thing it's done since. This is the only way I can put it. It has calmed me the fuck down. Any other time, I probably would have gone after the bitch like, seriously, you're going to come after me. You got kids in your back, and again, you're going to come after me? Because I would have stood right up. But the fact of the matter is, little man's calmed me down, and it helps when I've got other priorities with my better half.
True.
Again, not being able to focus on the negative goes away.
Truth in that statement. Listen up, gentlemen. Don't focus on the negative. And I'm not speaking from a point of, yeah, I already did it. I'm speaking from the point, and I know Shane shares this with me, that I am doing it. I'm finally doing it. It took a long time. It really did. It took a long time to get here. Okay? But we're here. Men can heal after being abused in a relationship. For you, it was fatherhood and it was family. Same with me when I found my better half, and she completely understood everything that happened, because she was in some bad relationships, and they turned abusive. So she totally understands where I'm coming from. But again, to echo a point that I said earlier in this conversation, and you confirmed it for me, it happens to men more times than it is spoken of. Much more.
Oh, yeah. And here's one for the men to listen up to as well. There is no doing it and being done with it. You keep doing it.
Yes. That's the thing. You keep doing it. You work through your fear. You absolutely work through your fear. And, if everybody who downloads this episode and listens to it, think about why we're saying what we're saying. And this was inspired off of a recent conversation I had for a Facebook group for Domestic Violence Month, as October is Domestic Violence Month, and I'm going to borrow one of Jenny's tricks. I want y'all to use the hashtag HealingFromDV, which is healing from domestic violence, and tell us how you're healing from domestic violence. Because with her program, I'm giving away a Snowman Unfiltered t-shirt that I'm going to have done in a couple of weeks. I'm going to have a few of them done. And I'm going to present one to all the guests that I've had here on the podcast. Just as a way to say thank you. just as a way to say thanks for believing in what I'm doing. And, you said it best, man. You just have to keep doing it. And I know it's tough. You just have to keep doing it.
Hey, you say it yourself, man. Therapy for you is getting behind the mic. Therapy for me, getting behind the wheel. You do what you do that helps you feel better so you can put your energy into what you need to do for everybody else that's in your life, whether it's your kids, whether it's just your girlfriend, your wife, whatever it is. You need to be able to focus on making yourself better so that way you can make everybody else better around you.
The one thing that happened to me that really kicked the therapy into high gear, I got married.
Mm, that's true right there, man.
I got married. June 25th of this year, I got married to the most wonderful woman on the planet. And boy, she has been there through this ride. Me trying to find myself again. And finally getting to the point where I can kick the door down and take the first step through it. For you, it's sim racing. For me, it's broadcasting, getting back behind the mic. I did a game last night, and it was one of my best calls in 2 years. Even though I flew solo, I didn't have all the equipment that I needed. It was one of the best calls I've had in 2 years. And as long as you and I have been friends, you've heard some of the crazy calls I've had over the years. When I'm fully invested in it, and I will be again, when I'm fully invested in it, I have some of the best calls ever. Same with you. And I've watched some of your races. When you're fully invested in it, you have some of your best races.
I've had iRacing for just over a month, dude. I've been invested in it hardcore, and I've already got 14 wins.
How'd you get into that? Tell me how you got into that.
Well, I've known a lot of my friends who run iRacing. I mean, there's other sims out there, R Factor 2, all that great stuff. You want me to go all the way back, ironically, 13 years ago this month. Yeah, a lot of things happened 13 years ago. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
I've been a huge NASCAR fan. A friend of mine, because I always played on the computer or on PlayStation or whatever. A friend of mine said, you can take this stuff online and race against people, right? The hell are you talking about? He's like, let me show you what I'm talking about. Next thing I know, I'm running. This is back when EA had NASCAR's license.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm running NASCAR sim racing on the computer. 3 races in, I get my first win of my career. 3 races in. And it was done from there. Literally, it was done from there. And I've been a part of NASCAR sim racing. I've done R Factor 2, iRacing, Assetto Corsa. You can think of any big title out there for sim racing, and trust me, there's a lot of them.
Yes.
I've probably had my hand in it. But no, iRacing, because, I got a lot of friends who run in the Peak Antifreeze series, which is the top division for NASCAR for iRacing. And by the way, they have made their TV debut.
Really?
A few months ago. Yeah, a few months ago. NBCSN picked them up for a few races for some all-star events. Tomorrow night, 5 p.m. on NBCSN, is the live finale, where the winner of the championship will get the lion's share of $100,000.
Are you in that race, I hope?
Not this year, but the next couple I'm aiming to be involved.
Good.
And I've got people along for the ride that are backing me 110%.
Well, you can call me a backer also.
Yeah, it's not often I plug my sponsors, but I've got the boys from Off Axis. They do the helmet for a lot of motorsports, including NASCAR. I mean, if you even look during some of the races, they've done some of the stuff for Tyler Reddick and Martin Truex Jr. They actually have their logo on the helmet. So if you see that logo, they did that person's helmet.
Nice. Very nice.
I've got an energy drink company that was made by gamers for gamers, Race Energy. They just came out. They're based in Europe. They're partners with me. So I actually have stuff that if people buy off of me, I get a commission.
I might have to make an investment so I can plug them. Seriously, because I'm looking to get some investors in crazy ways also, not just for this, but for the main show. And what I'm doing is actually building a franchise because there's a third show that I have in process. But again, to repeat what Shane and I have said, to all the men that have been through DV and are trying to heal from DV, you do what makes you you. Period. You do what makes you you. Is it tough to do? Fuck yeah, it is. Fuck yeah, it is, because you don't know if you're ready or when you're ready to take that step.
Yep, that's true.
Here's another thing that I want to talk about. We're talking about men healing from domestic violence on this episode of Snowman Unfiltered. And I know my plot was to have Shane on to talk a little sports, but probably get a little bit of sports talk in before my time runs out here in Oxford, North Carolina. But I wanted to touch this subject because we've spoken about it live on the morning show, and it needs to be spoken out a lot more. With this being Domestic Violence Month, I figured this was the perfect opportunity. There's no other way I can put this, and that's to say it unfiltered. That's why the podcast is called Snowman Unfiltered. Did it frighten the shit out of you when your abusive ex not made attempts to find you and pull you back into a relationship, or did you slam that door shut when you had an opportunity?
How about a little bit of both?
Ouch! How'd that happen?
Because of exactly the fact that she even tried to use the kids as bait because I grew up, taking care of them.
What?
I've known the bitch since about 2010. A mutual friend introduced us, all that great crap. And, she ended up with a guy, she got pregnant, yada, yada, yada. I've basically babysat and helped raise the kids. She's so diabolical. She tried to check me with the kids, saying, "Oh, they're gonna miss you. That you need to be around for them. You're like their uncle." Blah 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 blah.
Oh boy.
You have no idea how much it scared the hell out of me to slam that door in the face because growing up helping out with foster kids, it kind of my family did DHHS care for 26 years.
Yeah.
It kind of, you kind of think about it for a split second. How is this going to affect the kids? But then I look at everything else I had going on, and I had to slam the door.
Yeah. I had to slam the door too.
There's no wanting to slam doors. There's having to slam doors.
So true. So very true. I finally slammed that door. Were there some residual feelings I had to get out? Certainly. Happens to anyone that's been abused, that's been in an abusive relationship, and it really happens to men because, as we said at the top of the podcast, men are taught to just hide their feelings and keep going. And that's the toughest thing to do. Keeping going alone is the toughest thing to do, but to hide your feelings in the process, no. Men shouldn't have to hide their feelings when they get abused. They don't have to hide their feelings. I'm one of the biggest proponents. I'm one of the biggest proponents of speaking out, and I will continue to speak out, and I know you will too. I will continue to speak out against domestic violence. If it's not supposed to happen to women, it sure as hell ain't supposed to happen to men. And it happens a lot more to men than people realize. But for the men that are tuning into this program, best way to heal is to do what you love to do. And that first step is very scary. It's scary as all get out. And as my partner Shane and I have told you throughout the course of the last half hour we've been doing this, the first step is always the scariest. Always the scariest. And, you have to figure out what you need to do and what you want to do and what you love to do. You absolutely have to, or you'll never get through it, or you'll never get past it. I didn't think I'd ever get past it until I found Dr. K. And she's helped me work to get past it. And it's work. Don't get it twisted. It's work.
But it's work that's worthwhile.
Yeah, it is. And that, my friends, is the Big Dawg, Shane Lake. Man, thanks for coming on this podcast. I truly appreciate it. I'm going to have you back in a more sporty setting as we continue going through our different seasons. But I had to have you on at least once this month to talk about men healing from DV. I really appreciate it, brother.
And the biggest thing that helped me get through it all, June 30th, 2016, 12:03 p.m. And I'm looking at that reason right now.
Yeah, little big man. Absolutely. For me, June 25th, 2019, when my bride walked down the aisle to me.
It's a hell of a ride. It's a hell of a road. But at the end of the day, everyone will be able to get through it.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, brother. Appreciate the time.
As always, man, let's lock and load.
Let me repeat a couple things before I close this out that y'all need to remember. And I'm speaking specifically to the men. This is one of the most unfiltered episodes of Snowman Unfiltered that I've done, and I'm glad I did it. After the interview that I did a couple of nights ago with a friend that has a wonderful, wonderful Facebook group. With this being Domestic Violence Month, I'm encouraging the men to speak all the way out on it. I'm encouraging the men to continue to rock on and do what they love to do. For yourself, for your family, for everybody that's in your very small circle that truly wants to be a part of your life and truly wants to, truly wants to be a part of your life, be a positive influence, and just do what you love. When I was going through my situation 4 years ago, I lost my daughter in the process. I lost her to death. And the ex-bitch said, I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk business. You guys only knew how much that pissed me off. And I'm trying not to cuss as much as I want to, but this is one of the episodes I knew I would, in talking about something very personal to me. But I can honestly say, were it not for my beloved Dr. K, I would not be where I am. I tell her this all the time. I will continue to tell her this all the time. Because you can't heal if you don't take a chance. My problem lately professionally has been taking a chance. And I've expressed this about letting her down. And she's told me many times over, you're not going to let me down. You're sticking around for me. Damn right I am. I'm sticking around for her and for our dreams to come true. And there's no other way that this can be done if I don't take a chance. I have to take a chance. And I'm speaking not only for myself, but to and for the men that are afraid to take a chance. Take that first step, guys. Take that first step and start your healing process. It's going to be tough letting the right people in, and I realize that. But be that as it may, you got to start somewhere. It's a start for me every day when I have Dr. K in my corner. Maybe you have that one person in your corner that will help you continue to heal. I know I do. And I hope you men find that one person too. Have a great day, folks. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. Always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, they are not big enough. Subscribe to the email list on snowmanunfiltered.com for all your updates and information, and drop a donation to the Snowman Patreon as I continue to create podcasts like this. Men, let's heal, let's get better. So long, everybody.